And my 100 Genestealers is done. Well, I haven't done the bases yet. I haven't figured out what to do with the bases, but they're painted. Not my best work, obviously, but good enough for so many models. And certainly looks cool as a mass of bodies. All these purple bodies with white claws, red beady eyes, and purple tongues. So definitely cool. 100 Genestealers right there. So I'm going to leave the bases all to the end. I'll do all the bases together, including the characters. So next, I think what I'm going to work on are the patriarchs. And then I'll do the big dudes at the end. And what I might do is very similar, except spend more time on these guys, but similar. So white on the front and purple on the back. But I'll actually do it much more carefully and spend more time on it, and then yeah, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. But before I do that, just when I've had 5-10 minutes here or there, what I've been doing is making a list of Genestealers and Astra Militarum, because of course you can do that. So what, and I wanted to make use of 100 painted Genestealers, so I have a list where I have these as Genestealer called Genestealers with patriarchs instead of acting as broodlords, and then I have conscripts, commissar, company commanders, and heavy weapons teams in a fire base. And so I have 3 lascannon heavy weapons teams here. These were autocannons, and now I've made them into lascannons by putting the lascannon barrel tip on them. Looks fine. And then this was actually a heavy bolter that I cut off the little heavy bolter nozzle and put a lascannon on. So now this is a lascannon too. So now I got 6 lascannons. I need 6 more, so I need to grab a hold of 2 more heavy weapons teams next week, and then I'll have 12 heavy weapons teams along with 30 or 40 conscripts, and a commander in a sort of slow-moving bubble or non-moving bubble, and then I'm going to have 80 Genestealers coming in. With the patriarchs and the primus. Now I can't fit 100 in that list because of course they've gone up to 15 points recently, so that's a significant rise of 50% rise actually, so I'm losing a squad of 20, but 80 Genestealers is still pretty scary. So I've been doing those little things here and there. I painted up this commissar here very quickly. It took me about an hour to paint up this commissar. And all these conscripts are quite nicely done already. And I've got a couple of dudes, sergeants who are going to be company commanders. I need to finish the basing on this guy when I paint and finish these little nozzles. I'll wait till I get all the other heavy weapons teams and do them all together. But yeah, and I'm also using these guys in my Space Marines list, my conscripts. So I love the look of these guys. Rambo dudes. Really cool, these Catachan guys. Alright, so just looking at the patriarchs here and what they're supposed to look like in my kind of color scheme, I think what I'm going to do is that the skin will be purple. And there's not a lot of skin showing actually. The hands, the feet, and the little kind of, let me get over here, these sort of little striated parts in between the carapace, these parts there. That's what the GW version would consider the same color as the hands and feet. So I'm going to paint all those Genestealer purple, and those are just small areas, and the face as well. And then, and the tongue, of course, I have to have a purple tongue, stick with the rest of my army. And then the carapace, I'm actually, instead of just having it all purple like on my dudes, I'm going to leave that black. So it's going to have black armor, kind of black carapace. And then I'm going to make these spikes, all the spikes and claws bone. So I think that kind of fits with my current army coloring, and then the underside is going to be kind of stone color like it is on the grunts. I don't know how to paint the brain. I've asked to see if Duncan can do a daily video on how to paint the brain. If anybody below has great ideas on how to paint the brain. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. And then the pipe is obviously going to be rusty metal and these skulls. And this is a Space Marine helmet there. I hope you can see that. It's a Space Marine helmet. I haven't decided what chapter to make it, but just for fun, I might make it Dark Angels. But yeah, there we go. So that's the color scheme for the Patriarchs. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I think the first step is to paint the innermost stuff. I like to work from the inside to the outside. And the innermost stuff in this case will be these purple bits. And then I can go over this primer black with Abaddon black, which is something I'd have to do anyway, and then I can also use that to touch up any purple overrun. So I think that works out pretty well. Alright, Patriarchs are coming along. I finished all the purple parts, so the skin. Did take 2 layers, of course, to cover the black nicely with a solid layer of purple. I love Genestealer purple, such a great color. It's not the color I'm supposed to base with, and in fact, if you watch Duncan's videos on painting Genestealer skin, doesn't use Genestealer purple at all. Uses Demonette hide, as opposed to like Xerius purple with Genestealer purple. But anyway, I'm just sticking to the Genestealer purple, so it matches my other guys, and I love Genestealer purple. So I got in all the little, these sort of cracks in the carapace, and the feet and the hands, and the face, the front part of the face. Yeah, so that's good. I've got the base layer down for the purple for both guys. Alright, so the Patriarch purple bits have been washed with Druchii Violet. I don't want to wash and then get Druchii Violet on everything else, so I'm going to finish the skin first. So I'll wash with Druchii Violet all the purple parts, including the brain. So the brain I based with Screamer Pink, and then I put some Druchii Violet on top of it to kind of darken it down and purplish it, and gives it that dark purple into the recesses. So it looks pretty good. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the highlighting of the brain yet, but I think it looks pretty good right now. So we'll let those guys dry and carry on. Alright, so my doubles list has changed from Tyranid Genestealers to Genestealer Cult Genestealers, and has simplified to just be 2 Patriarchs, some Familiars, and a bunch of Genestealers. So I had to paint some Familiars. So these guys you just get in the box that comes with the Patriarch. So the Patriarch comes in a box with the Primus and the Magus and itself, and 2 Familiars. For some reason I've lost a whole bunch of Familiars, so I have 3 Familiars left, so I just put them together and painted them the same way as I did the Genestealers. Very simple, didn't spend much time on them at all. So I got my 3 Familiars here. I'm not sure they're worth 12 points. They basically allow the Patriarch to cast an extra power 1 time per game. And I guess they have a stat line, and they are models, and so they, and it says that they use the toughness of the Patriarch. So I guess they can take wounds for him, I guess. And then for my last Familiar, I borrowed a Ripper from Phil. And so here's my last Familiar, this little Tyranid Ripper here. Just 1 Ripper on a base. So there's my 4 Familiars, and there was no other way I could fill 48 points. Actually, it was perfect that was 4 Familiars, but there was no other way that I could fill it. I couldn't put a unit of 5 Genestealers in that, because 5 Genestealers is more than 48 points. So, and that's the minimum size for a Genestealer unit, so I couldn't even do that. I tried, you know, I could put a random Genestealer here and there, but it's only 3 extra Genestealers, so I don't know. The Familiar may be more worth it in the end if it gives these guys a chance to smite and cast something else. So there they are, my 4 Familiars. Alright, finishing off the skin of the Patriarch. They're Patriarchs now, not Broodlords. So I didn't have a purple highlight. Genestealer purple is in fact the highlight for Xerius purple, so that was a bit of an oversight, but I like the Genestealer purple brighter color, and then darkened with the Druchii Violet, of course, and then now highlighted with this color that I just picked up called Deshala Lilac, which comes in Edge and also comes in a dry paint. Well, the dry paint is called Lucius Lilac or something like that, but it's the same color, but it's just the dry version. And so I got this Edge version of the Deshala Lilac. Now I'm not sure exactly what Edge means. Is it thinner so it's better for edge highlighting? I don't know, but it's nice. It's a nice highlight color, as you see here, for Genestealer Purple and Druchii Violet. So the patriarch here has been highlighted on the edges here with this purple, and it's very nice. Didn't take too long to do. The skin parts, so like the hands and the feet, are actually quite angular. There's a lot of sharp ridges. They're easy to pick out with an edge highlight. It's quite striking. And the face is very angular, so that's cool. So now what I'm going to do is finish the brain. And so I want the glow under the finger, like on the box art. And there's lots of different ways I've seen doing it, and lots of different color glow, electric blue kind of glow, or just like a yellow glow or a white glow or whatever. Even GW has multiple different kinds of glows. So I want it to look kind of like electric psychic power. So what I've done, I just sort of came up with this by myself, make it as simple as possible, is I've dry brushed Baharoth blue just onto the brain right there, where I want a kind of wider glow. This Baharoth blue, which is, in case people have forgotten, it's this cool color, which I love for using for all sorts of things. And so I dry brushed it onto the brain there. You can see that. And then I'm going to put a white dry brush right sort of just in the middle under the fingers. And I think that will look pretty good just like that. The brain itself was just Screamer Pink with Druchii Violet, so it's sort of dark. Well, you can see it on this side here where I haven't dry brushed it, so just kind of brainy. And it kind of blends in, the Druchii Violet kind of blends it nicely into the purple there of the head, so it's actually looks quite good. And there it is. Looks pretty good from far, which is kind of where most people look at your model. Looks pretty good from far. And if we zoom in here, very, very light, careful white dry brush. Looks good. Happy with that on both brains. Yep. Alright. Xandri dust down on the bone, on the claws with Agrax. And I'm going to leave that overnight and highlight it tomorrow morning. All the claws, so all the hands and feet claws done on both guys. So come back and highlight those in the morning, and then the claws will be done. The other thing I did was put red into the eyes. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Don't think I can zoom in close enough. There we go. Red in the eyes. Very cool. Alright, claws are done. Just some Ushabti and a bit of white scar at the end. Might put some blood on it, I don't know yet. Gonna decide later how gory I want my patriarchs. But yeah, so they're finished claws. So now I'm gonna work on the carapace. So first thing I'm gonna do is just base it black. Go over it with black, touch up all the purple overrun. And then I'm gonna highlight it. And it'll be done. Alright, it's kind of subtle. You can't see, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but the black has been highlighted with Eshin Gray. I like Eshin Gray versus Dark Reaper, as I feel I just like the look of it better, the kind of gray on black as opposed to the sort of bluey gray, and it seems to just stand out that little bit more on the tabletop than using Dark Reaper. So I always choose to use Eshin Gray. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So this guy is almost done. I just need to do the underside now, which is going to be like the other Genestealers, kind of white or bone, bony white, stone white. And then I need to do the Space Marine helmet that's in his claw here on the bottom. And then I need to do the spikes, which I haven't decided what to do with them yet. And then the base. So almost done these guys. A bit more progress on my patriarchs. Just did the underside here with a dry brush of Terminatus stone. Light dry brush on the inside of the legs and arms, underside, kind of the soft underbelly of the patriarch. And then I painted the helmet here, which is a Dark Angel's helmet, just for fun. And just very little highlights with moot green. Just kind of don't want it to draw too much attention from everything else. And then some Screamer pink for this bit of spine sticking out here, and some blood for the blood god at the bottom. Okay, so onto the spikes, and then I'm done. And I decided to make the spikes actually spikes, so metallic spikes. I think that will look kind of cool, give them a bit of a heavy metal look. So I'm going to make them metallic. And then I'm going to do the base, which is quite detailed. I just realized, having a good look at it. There's skulls and stuff all at the bottom. There's a Space Marine helmet there. There's kind of goo and strands of stuff. There's a little Genestealer symbol right there. Yeah, it's pretty detailed, so we'll spend a bit of time on the base. So let's finish off this dude. Alright, so the spikes have been done in silver and Nuln Oil applied for shading, mostly to the bases of the spikes, so looks pretty good. And then Balthasar gold to base the pipe, because I want it kind of bronzy and rusty. And then Agrax Earth Shade on top. And then the ground at the bottom has been done with Mechanicus Standard Gray with Nuln Oil on it. So that's all looking fine. And we're going to let that dry up. Yeah, that's looking good. The Nuln Oil the Agrax doesn't stick to the top of the pipe very well because it just flows down, so I might just hand apply a little bit more Agrax to these ribs across the pipe there. Alright, while I'm waiting for my patriarchs to dry, I decided to paint my Primus, because I need a Primus for my non-doubles list, so my Genestealer, just normal list. So here he is. To mirror the rest of my army, I give him a purple robe. So I based that all in Xerius purple, and I'm going to highlight it with Genestealer purple and lilac. And then his leather there in hide, and then silver body armor, a bone sword. So you Xandri dust down there. And some of the details I haven't picked out yet because I have to do the flesh underneath. And the flesh is Rakarth flesh to give it a paleness. And then I'm going to put the Juki Violet on it to give it that Genestealer purplish hue. So on the box, they recommend you do Bugman's and then Juki Violet. But I find Bugman's a little bit too warm. I wanted something a little bit paler, so I used Rakarth flesh. Alright, this guy's looking good. So that Juki Violet wash on top of the Rakarth flesh looks good. That kind of purple Genestealer face, awesome, and on the hands and everything. Some Agrax on this bone. Juki Violet all over the robe. And Nuln Oil has picked out all the detail on that armor like a boss. So good, Nuln Oil is so good. Alright, and yeah, so it's a pretty simple model. So we'll get back once it's dry. Once everything dries, we're going to finish off these 3 duders and we'll be done. Alright, the pipe is done other than some verdigris. It's a dry brush with Sycorax bronze and then edge highlighting with everybody's favorite metal finisher, Stormhold Silver. I think Stormhold Silver is probably one of the most versatile paints in the GW line. It's so good. So just finished off the pipe on each of the patriarchs and also finished off all the metalware on their bodies, so the spikes and the big spike on the tail. So that's one, and that's the other guy there. And then while I was at it, also edge highlighted all the silver parts on the Primus. There you go. It's so good. Stormhold silver. Look how it just shines out on that leg pad. So good. So awesome. Okay, so we're gonna move forward now, and what I'm gonna do actually is just the body at the front is looking a little bit bland. So what I'm gonna do is actually just highlight those ribs with something. I haven't decided what color, and I should pep it up a little bit. And then I'm going to finish the gray part of the base and pick out all the skulls and this kind of webby stuff. I don't know what to do with that yet, and then finish the base. And then the Primus just requires some more highlighting. The sword and the cloak and the skin. Alright, bunch of more things done and almost complete. I put a little bit of Cassandora yellow on this brain glow here to make it look less like brain freeze and more like brain glow. I think it looks okay. I edge highlighted the bony carapace on the bottom a little bit. It's very subtle, but it's there. And the base is finished, so I edge highlighted everything in Stormhold Silver. I picked out these cult icons in the base, and I picked out all the skulls and the ectoplasm in moot green. Stands out quite nice. And then the dry brush to stone with Terminatus stone, and then some astral granite on the base. And I'm going to put shrubs in there in a second once it's dry. But yeah, I really like this ectoplasm in moot green. I think it looks cool. Really makes it stand out. Same with this guy. Same treatment. Looks cool. And I finished my Primus. So I finished edge highlighting all the parts of the Primus. Come on, focus camera. And the bone sword here. 3 layers of highlights there with the green. Finished the skin using pallid witch flesh. Red for the eyes. Highlighted the leather. And then finally, another robe. Another chance to practice some wet blend with Genestealer purple and that Deshala lilac. Doesn't look too bad. But this robe here. Still is very tricky. Can't quite get the hang of it, but it's getting better. And there's the sword again. Alright, my Genestealers are done. I got my 2 patriarchs here. Got my Primus. Got my little familiars. And I've got 100 Genestealers. There we are. That's a lot of Genestealers. That's actually the most horde I've ever painted. My zombies and ghouls were only 60 each. And I don't have 100 Marines, although I don't count them as a horde, I guess. So this is the biggest horde I've ever painted, and there we go, it's finished. It's not pretty, it's not my prettiest work, but God help me if I was going to do high detail on 100 Genestealers. No, that's just not happening. So it's good enough, it's tabletop quality, I'm happy with it, and it's done, and it's ready for Capital City Bloodbath. So my list ended up changing. It didn't include a Trigon, so the Trigon is assembled but not painted there because I have lots of other things to paint. Same with the Swarmlord. The Swarmlord is just kind of a bit of purple on it, but otherwise left for another day. Actually, this whole shelf is my yet to be painted shelf. You can see things here like Gulliman, Cypher, a few Librarians, and all my Wolf Grey Hunters. And then as well there's a Dreadnought that he's putting together, and 2 Dreadnoughts actually, and of course my Knight. So these things have yet to be painted, and this is my yet to be painted shelf, but here's my Genestealer army completed. So I'm very happy for that to be done. I'm ready for Capital City Bloodbath doubles and singles. And next up is going to be a special project I'm doing for Nick. It's a quote-unquote commission. I wanted to paint a new army. I didn't want to buy one, and he wants a new army, but he doesn't have the time to paint it or assemble it or anything, and possibly even play it. So the deal was that he's supplied me the army that he wants to play. I'm gonna do it up to playable standards, and then I get to play it and put it on the channel, and of course he can play it whenever he likes. So that's the deal, and so we're going to do that. I have a few little bits and bobs to do. I have some more arms for the Leviathan that I can whip up pretty quickly, some storm cannon arrays. I just got this the other day, it's Spartan, and it just needs to be repainted in Dark Angels colors and the weapons painted. So I got little things like that to do, but otherwise the next project is going to be Orcs, a Killacan army with a Gorkanaut. So please stay tuned to Work in Progress. It might be a little bit slow over the next couple of weeks because of Capital City Bloodbath, but we'll be getting right back into it as soon as we can.